What's going on, everyone? It's Ryan from Hard Money Bankers for the HMB show. Today, we have a very special guest who we have done, as Hard Money Bankers, have done a lot of business with. So we have a lot of personal experience working with Nicole Timpanaro. So Nicole, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So a lot of times in transactions, one of the things that borrowers or clients they last look at is the title company. And to me, it's usually a rookie mistake, as I say. A lot of times when we're doing a deal, I'll say, "Who's your title company?" And they'll say, "Oh, I'm not sure yet." And I always say, "I'm happy to recommend one," because I love it when I'm able to recommend one, because it's always going to you and your agency, Fortune Title. So just a quick introduction: Nicole is CEO and majority owner of Fortune Title. So Nicole, I'll let you kind of introduce yourself. Tell us about you and your company and how you got started there.
Thank you. So as you said, I'm the CEO of Fortune Title. I'm actually a third generation title professional. So my grandmother was in title abstracting. My mother did title abstracting. My dad started there and then went off into title insurance. So I guess you can say it's in the blood. I was born and raised in Hudson County Courthouse.
Yeah, that's funny, because one of my questions for you is going to be why'd you get into title? Like, why?
Well, it's funny.
Yeah.
I wanted nothing to do with it.
And here we are.
I was born and raised around it. So I got my undergrad at Villanova in business management and minored in information systems. And I went to work at ADP, worked my way up there into project management and got my master's there in the management of information systems, and was kind of really headed towards, a very different life, but working a lot of hours. And then when I had my daughter, the hours became unmanageable and I tried to work it out with ADP and it wasn't really working. So I said to my dad, can I just sit and, do whatever for you? I'll do anything that you need, and work with you for a little bit while I figure out my next step. And I was thinking about going to teaching or doing something in education. And I got to the company and I just started really looking at the business just as a business and fixing little things here and fixing little things there. And before you knew it, my dad and I were sitting down and talking about being partners and me coming in and really just operating the business side of the business and trying to take the company to the next level.
That's awesome. That explains so much. Okay. So title companies, for those who don't know, they have a lot of restrictions in terms of pricing and things like that. It's basically, it's all templated for you guys, right? Like everyone's very similar in that sense. So
it's a very regulated industry.
Very regulated. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Jordan Franklin, what's up, Jordan? Thanks for saying hi. So yeah, and I just kind of want to dive into that because it's, in my opinion, I haven't done it myself, but in my opinion, it's challenging for title companies to stand out and be different and win business of customers, right? At least that's from my perspective. Dealing with title companies, you're like, they're all the same, but they really are not. And I can't recommend enough as a lender finding a title company that can do what your team does. Most people, if you do know us, we are the fast closers, and that speed is everything to us. So, we've been doing this since 2007, and to this day, you are still the best title company we have found. Which, again, if you're coming from if it's so regulated, what do these guys do that's so different? So I know what you do differently, but do you want to kind of share why maybe somebody would want to kind of come to you guys instead of maybe somebody else?
Absolutely. I think what it comes down to is really service, expertise, and I think what really differentiates us is our ability to think outside of the box. So when this company was first started by my dad, we did really primarily foreclosure work. That's pretty much all we did. And those are very dirty files. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that needs to be cleaned up. And I think that experience, us having our foundation there, really taught us how to navigate through a lot of different title issues and how to get things resolved and get to the closing table and really be creative. And I think that does differentiate us, because we will go to toe with our underwriter and really discuss the true risk of an item in order to get to the next level. So, that, and I think we also just strive to be a resource for our clients. So, I always say to my clients, if you need anything, come to me first. I'm going to reach out to my network. I'm going to see who I can match you with, how to help you be successful so that you can grow your business. Because the more successful you are, the more successful we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on top of all that, on top of, just being good, like knowing the industry, knowing all the curveballs that are out there. I mean, that answers actually a lot that why you guys know so much is because you started in foreclosure. Like, you started at the hard ones, right? You're just like,
very difficult files that most title companies, don't really work on. So a lot of title companies don't touch foreclosure. We actually get a lot of referrals from other title companies who don't want to deal with the foreclosure and say, can you handle this one file for us? And then, get our client back.
but that's your groundwork, right? Everything else is easier from there, right?
It is.
So you've probably seen it, in terms of like I mean, there's very rarely that closings go smoothly, in the sense of like, nothing comes up. Maybe not, whether it's on the person buying or selling the property. Sometimes they think, oh no, everything's easy. Whether it's an unknown title issue that comes up, just the network you have of people reaching out to, being able to solve title issues. Because I mean, if anybody's had to close quickly and then a title issue comes up and you're trying to get a hold of the township, and your title company is like, I've never talked to these people before, that can delay your closing 2-3 weeks. And in an investment world, that's 2-3 weeks of money that you're missing out on, right? So, yes. I mean, so time is definitely important, because you guys have been able to build your network. That definitely adds to it. Experience, knowing all the different curveballs that come up, and there's almost an unlimited amount. I mean, we've been doing this for 14 years and we still see things we haven't seen. So I'm sure the same for you. So just having somebody that has seen most of what's out there is so important. And then, in my opinion, the most important, for at least from our perspective, from the lender's perspective, your communication is just so on point. I mean, hopefully you don't know this, but maybe you do. There's some title companies that they'll take a week to just get back to you on an email. And it's like, how are you in business? Like, in this day and age in real estate?
That I don't understand, because service is such an integral part of what we do and what does differentiate you. So we have a policy, like, you have to get back to people same day. We try to respond within a couple hours, and we don't always have the answer on that initial email. Maybe it's just a response saying, hey, I've got your email. We're working on this. We've got to call into the township. We'll get back to you as soon as we have an answer. But I think communication is so critical, just so everybody knows what's going on. And we understand, okay, I may not have an answer right this second, but at least I'm working on it.
100%. And that's what we appreciate about your company so much is, and that's exactly what you said. Sometimes we know, like, we get that you might not have the answer right now, but you just acknowledge and say, hey, email received, we're on it, right? It's like, okay, I'll back off, right? I mean, we know how much of a pain in the butt we can be. And you guys handle us better than anyone. So that's why we just keep referring business back to you and keep it going. And then on top of your communication, you guys are just really pleasant. Everyone in your office, seriously, just very nice and enjoyable people to work with.
Thank you. We actually work really hard at that. So, we've got, if you go on our website, we have like a list of our core values and like who we feel we are as a culture and as a company. And a big part of that is like family and gratitude and appreciation and having a very positive work environment. And we work very hard to keep it that way. I've actually probably let more people go because they didn't fit the culture and weren't a positive influence on, our little family within the company, and also extending to our clients and our vendors, than performance issues.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that, because we work very hard to keep a very positive, open environment.
Yeah, and it's 100% noticed. But as from one of you, we're a client for you, right? And we notice that, and we appreciate that about you. So, but on top of all that, so we got communication, experience, all of that. The fact is, you guys can close deals, and at the bottom line, right? Like, it hits our dollar value, because you can have the experience, you can have the communication, and you can have the kindness, right? but if we're losing money, we couldn't continue going with you, right? Bottom line's like, we make money, we love using you guys. So I'm really, I'm calling this out for anyone who's listening. You need to have a title company such as Nicole's in your pocket, because they will make you money in the end, as well as, besides making your life easier, they will also make money for your business. So definitely, yeah, absolutely. Definitely reach out to Nicole, her team. So I mean, do you have any advice for maybe somebody who is okay? So let's just say, what areas do you cover? I'll start with that. What areas do you cover?
So we're licensed in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and we actually have affiliate relationships that enable us to work across the country. So we can take in all 50 states.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. My next question was gonna be, okay, so if for people who are out of the states you cover, to say what should they be, if somebody were to approach you and kind of, I guess in a sales pitchy way, like why should they choose you? Like what's your sales pitch to them if somebody's calling saying, hey, what can you guys do for me?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say our expertise, the knowledge that we have, the service that we provide, and our out of the box thinking. We always find a way to get you to the closing table and to get things done, whether it's holding escrow or negotiating items. We find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, yep, and I can 100% testify to that. So, yeah, do you have any advice for maybe somebody who's new and looking for a title company, or anything in terms of investments?
Yeah, I mean, I would say when you're looking for a title company, you have to remember that title companies aren't just title insurance companies anymore. Now we're also settlement agents, and that's a big and very you know, part of the transaction that takes a lot of responsibility and a lot of care. So you want to make sure that you're using somebody that really knows how to protect your data and knows how to protect your money, and has, all their ducks in a row when it comes to privacy, security, and, preventing wire fraud and that type of communication.
Yeah, and that is very serious, especially from lenders. We do check all of our title companies because it's happened to us. Even as good as we are at it, it still happens. And what I'm talking about is like wire fraud, or just basically people faking documents and things like that.
We get multiple emails a day of people trying to work their way into a transaction and, trying to convince you to click on a link or to do something you're not supposed to do. And you have to have a very well-trained staff that knows to always call and confirm and to make sure you know who you're talking to, and that you're using the right points of communication.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily like saying this for in general in the industry, but I do think with title companies, part of what, like, an easy way to filter a title company is how long have they been here? Because title companies come in and out very fast. They basically open up business. They realize, oh, we can't do this, right? But that's after they've just went through $1 million fraud case, right? And somebody lost $1 million, right? So they pop in, pop out so often. So you can honestly see if a title company is legitimate, but just how long have they been here?
Right.
So I mean, how did you tell us when did you guys started?
We were founded in 2000. So
okay.
We're going on our 22nd year. So we've been around the block a few times.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a testament to you and your father. So yeah, that's awesome. So I mean, I think that's everything. I think if anybody's ever looking for title companies, we always recommend Fortune Title. They're fast, they're awesome, they're everything you could honestly want in a title company. I was going to ask you because I think you and all of your coworkers are phenomenal business people. So I was going to ask you, like, title's tough, right? Like you kind of get the short end of the stick a lot, right? Like you just get yelled at by a lot of people.
Well, I feel like we're Switzerland, so it's our job to kind of
okay, I like
manage everybody and manage everybody's expectations and get us all to the finish line and keep everybody happy. And it's there's a lot of therapy that's involved in title insurance.
Yeah, I like it. I like the Switzerland analogy. I mean, I was just gonna say, I feel like you would crush it in any part of real estate just because you're very professional. You do everything that we think is proper on the business side of things. So it's no shock to me that you made it very successful in title, but the story you shared to us in the beginning makes sense where you kind of landed where you landed. So personally, I think you could do what you do with any anything, but you made it work with title. So,
Thank
good for
you.
you.
I did end up falling in love with it.
Yeah, it is not for everybody. That's for sure.
It's not, but you know what? It keeps you on your toes. I think the greatest thing about it is that it's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. There's always something new, a new problem to solve, a new way to look at things. So it never gets stale.
Yeah, I mean, we're at 15 minutes already, but I do want to ask, how did COVID change anything for you guys?
Um, Not really. When COVID first hit, we did move the office fully remote, which was a new thing for us. We had never had our closers in a remote setting before, but we did realize that we were able to get the job done fully remote in that way. We came back to the office pretty quickly using the proper safeguards. But now I have staff that's in other states that works as closers because we figured out a way to do it. So it definitely taught us to be more flexible in terms of our staffing.
You think that's permanent? You're going to
Oh,
stay like that?
absolutely.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We all permanently have like a full setup at home. And it's great just navigating COVID in terms of quarantine, but also for snow days and,
Yeah.
somebody needs to be home with a sick child. It just adds a lot of flexibility to our staff and, makes it easier for us to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a forced change, but in the end, I think it's potentially a better change for everybody, right? It's a
Definitely made
win-win.
us better.
So, yeah, cool. All right, well, Nicole, you got anything else you want to add? I mean, this will go out to a lot of investors, and I do hope they all reach out to you looking for Fortune title. But you got anything else you want to add before we go?
Just thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate this opportunity. And for anybody looking for a good title company, we do have your back. We have a lot of experience, and we would love to help you through your transaction.
Awesome, appreciate it. Well, actually, how can people get a hold of you?
So you can reach out to us at orders@fortunetitle.com or 973-226-6555.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Nicole. And we'll do this again in about another year because we like to do this every year, just follow up, see how things have changed. So I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your story and your business. And yeah, have a great 2022. I'm sure we'll have a lot of business to do.
Thank you.
All righty.